Okay, we are back at Table 12 after a 3-week hiatus with Paul Marino and Rob behind the glass. Gentlemen,
How you guys doing?
Good afternoon.
nice to see you. Haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a while.
Rob, glad you're doing better.
Glad
You're
we got Rob back.
back on the mend.
Yep, I'm on the mend.
Good for you. Happy. Yeah, it was touch and go there for a while.
A little bit.
I thought we were going to have to find another studio.
Yep.
But, you're doing good. You look good.
Thanks, Dan.
You still have all your hair, so it couldn't have been that serious.
No, I have all my hair and all my toes.
All right. Paul,
How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Rolling along.
What's wrong today?
It's just a lot of things on my mind. A lot of things, a lot of moving parts.
I got to tell you, you seem to be more stressed out since you're retired. I think you need to go back to work.
I don't know how I fit all this stuff in that I do now than when I was working 3 jobs.
Do you think you're being taken advantage of?
No, I don't think so. I just there's always a
Well, you
little
worked
something.
3 jobs. Hold on, let's back that up. You worked 3 jobs.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's not like you were working 3 40-hour-a-week jobs and, you're working triple shifts and coming home for a nap before you got to get up to go back to the factory.
I was driving 3 hours a day on my regular job. I was working all day.
No, you had to commute. You know what? Everyone in Sussex County commutes.
And Saturday I had a florist
so
job for 32 years.
Which was voluntary.
Well, I needed the money. I didn't do it for fun.
You were able to visit your parents on Saturday because why would you drive to Woodridge to deliver flowers?
It was a paycheck. I got a job there.
All right. I mean, even Eli Manning didn't tip you. So, come on. Tell the truth. You were there.
He gave me an autograph, though.
You got to see your parents and get paid while you were there.
Well, yeah, I guess you could look at it that way.
I mean, their neighbors probably thought someone was always dying because there was a florist truck in the front of the house every day.
Yeah, I think people ratted me out that I was having lunch over there, too.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because I had the phone number right on the truck, I'm not giving them a plug.
Kind of hard to conceal that.
Yeah. And then I used to work for the town for 30 years.
And I'll defend you on that. That
was a lot of hours.
When we were on the council, and you were on it for 25 years.
29. But who's counting?
Okay, whatever. We did put in a lot of time. A lot of phone calls, and fortunately, we both had employment that allowed us to do that, and we were able to get on the phone, and we were on the phone almost every day and always handling something. So,
yep.
And I had a blip in my career where I was unemployed and I had to file for unemployment. And I had to report to them that I had this other income.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to know how much an hour I made. And I figured it out. And it was $2.35 an hour.
It's about right.
So,
it's about right.
It's a volunteer position with a stipend, basically. And we would spend that stipend, going to events that we had to go to, buying plates and going to seminars, and that all cost us money.
But I always used to say to you when I used to see you on Saturday night, what a day at the florist. And you said...
I said, I'm sure there's some guy digging a ditch, thanking God he doesn't have to deliver flowers.
One of the best lines you ever came up with of all time, I have to tell you. That was awesome. But, I didn't just go to the house with a bouquet. I was setting up weddings.
Oh, yeah.
With vases.
Oh, believe me. You told me all about it.
There was no walk in the park, this thing. But, sometimes you got good tips. Yeah. But I liked it because the day went fast. When you're driving, the day goes faster. And then I also used to, I used to stop at the Italian deli.
You ran errands.
While I was doing the flowers. If I'm in Garfield, I'm stopping for Italian bread and salami. You know me. Now I got to make a special trip for that. But
I would go to the Polish deli in Garfield if I was.
Yeah, I didn't do. No, I did Italian.
Hands down, the best Polish food on the planet.
Which one did you go to?
Golden Eagle. I think it was called Golden Eagle.
Yeah.
On River Road.
Yeah.
And pierogies, best pierogies, kielbasa. I like Quaker Creek and Pine Island as well, but nothing beat Garfield.
And now, not to just go on a side note, these stores are closing in these neighborhoods now.
Nobody wants to do it anymore.
No, and even Vita Mia, they said that they may be closing soon, and they want to try to sell the business. but nobody wants to work 16 hours a day making the bread in the morning because they make the bread right
Sure.
there. Thing of the past, you know.
And a Golden Eagle, it would be babka.
Yeah.
They were making the babka.
You know, when I used to,
But it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
And
but
kids
these
don't
places,
want to do
like,
it.
just like the butcher shops. When I was a kid, you know, even when I was in high school, there was a butcher shop right in town, right? So used to go in there for sandwiches, nothing like a sandwich from the butcher shop, right? Roast beef and everything.
Sure.
So when I first started working full time, I had a thing with the butcher. So if I rang the phone once, it was salami and provolone. If I rang it twice, it was Italian hero with, you know, everything on it. Like, so I just used to walk in on the counter. I didn't have to pick up. He didn't pick up the phone. It was just one ring, and I hang up, or two rings, I hang up, and the sandwich would be on the counter. $1 for a hero.
And when you'd walk in there, you'd go, Paulie, how's your mother?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They still do that in the Italian store because my father used to go there when he worked in funeral homes, and they said, "How many do you plant today?"
Say, hey, let me throw a couple extra slices on there for the old man. huh?
But he used to say, my father, because when he walks out today, I just spent my whole foot porter money in here, and the Italian guys were laughing because I go to bury somebody, and I come in here, I buy half a pound of salami, I buy all the peppers and everything, and I'm working
You're
for
breaking even.
I'm working for you, yeah, breaking even.
My father-in-law was a milkman, and he would barter with the delis and the butchers, and so
Your father was a
my
milkman?
father-in-law.
Oh, your father-in-law.
Yeah, my father sold tires. He had a
Okay.
tire store in Newton Tire.
Oh yeah.
Was him across from the county seat.
Yep.
And when I was 10 or 12 years old, in the summer I would go to work for him because, every time he went to the bank or had to run an errand, he'd have to lock up because he was by himself. So I would run the errands for him. And but every Saturday morning we'd go in at 6 a.m. and we'd see like the county seat was the town tavern then,
Right.
And it was a rough place. So we'd come in on Saturday morning and there'd be wood in the window, one morning, there'd be vomit in the parking lot. And one morning we'd come in, I'm like 12 years old. We go to open up and there's a puddle of vomit outside the door and a set of false teeth sitting in the middle of it.
You got to be kidding.
And that's such a fond memory for me in my youth.
Yeah. But the things are a thing of the past. I mean, and I know there was a lot more stores that I noticed are closed. So there's only a couple left in that area. There's a couple in Lodi. There's a couple in Garfield. There's a couple in Hackensack.
And Wallington.
But, yeah. But there's not as many as there was when I was in high school.
There's one in Butler now, Pulaski. That's not bad.
Right.
Polsky. I think it's. I'm not Polish, so forgive me if I'm mispronouncing.
And I went down there right around Thanksgiving this year because I wanted to get homemade raviolis and stuff, so I wouldn't have to come like now would be a bad time to go like today. I went one year. I made the mistake of going 3 days before Christmas, and I was online for 2 hours to get to the front to order what I had to get online. The line went around inside the building and out the door, and I drove an hour. So I said, well, I'm not going to I'm not going to waste 2 hours. I might as well waste. So it took me another hour and a half because I ain't doing that no more. But like today, if you went today, forget it. Especially with Christmas Eve 2 days away. But I took a shot.
Yeah.
Well, we got all our stuff. We're ready.
That's good. Good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you. Look at you.
So anyway, at least something's, we got the Christmas holiday, but I mean, really not much of a help for the Jets and the Giants.
Well, I was going to say, just before we get to that, I just want to point out a couple of things.
Okay, go ahead.
So it's been 3 weeks. It was the 3rd, December 3rd is the last time we did a show. And just since then, we're basically going to war with Venezuela. They're releasing the Epstein files. Rob Reiner was murdered. They renamed the Kennedy Center the Trump Kennedy Center. The killings in Syria.
And he even took top billing.
He did. He put his name on top.
I mean, it's just insanity.
It's crazy. We had killings in Syria, and then we bombed them. The Brown University MIT
Right.
killings, and December 8th, which I would have talked about it had we been here. 45 years since John Lennon was killed.
Right. Yep.
And which I mean, I don't know for everyone listening, but I know you and myself. I don't know about you, Rob, but I remember exactly where I was the day
Mhm.
that. Monday Night Football
Right.
is when we all found out about it, and somebody posted on social media that prior to that, obviously prior, Lennon was at a Monday Night Football game.
Yes.
And he went into the booth
Yep.
with
And
Howard.
Howard
Cosell.
interviewed him. You can see the clips on
and
YouTube.
it's such a great, like, down to earth moment for John Lennon. He really wasn't being a smart ass.
No.
You could tell he genuinely liked Howard Cosell, and there was a real friendly
He said,
exchange.
this is bigger than a concert, this game.
Yeah. And, and he's talking about rugby versus American football. And,
Mhm.
and like, so it's just, that's a somber day for me because I'm such a John Lennon fan.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. No, I mean, it's hard to believe it's 45 years ago.
45 years.
He's been dead longer than he was alive. I mean, when
He
he
was
was
40.
killed.
He was 40 when he was killed, yeah.
40 to 80. Yep.
He had just turned 40
Right.
2 months
October,
earlier.
yep.
Yeah.
October 9th.
And
Yeah,
a
lot of
it's
things were
fine that
going
we
on.
didn't have a show, Rob, because not a lot happened in the last 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, I can tell.
But you were starting to say
Well, I mean, you
It's
you had your typical
disgraceful.
Giants, Jets.
It's
barn
It's
burners.
unwatchable.
Right. Well, again, they were both on the same time, which makes it difficult. So, and
Which
I
has
tried
been
to
all season.
Yeah, because they don't put the way they run the NFL now. It used to be they had 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock game. One of them played 1, one played 4.
Right.
Unless it was a Monday night game.
The away team played at 1 o'clock,
Right.
and the home team played at 4.
Well, whatever. However it
Yeah.
was, it depended on where they were. Like if they were on the West Coast, then
Right.
they'd be the 4 o'clock game. But now, the way they structured the NFL and the TV contracts, they don't want these teams playing when they could be watching a national game where everybody's going to watch. Like yesterday was a good game. The Lions and the Steelers was the 4 o'clock game,
Right.
which we'll get to in a
Which
minute.
we'll get to that. Yeah, I want to talk about that.
But now they're both at 1 because they're both equally as bad. And I don't see it even changing next year. They're not going to
No.
put them on Monday night. They're going to have to show that they're playing better. And now with these long schedules, and they want to make this eventually. They want to go to an 18-game schedule. These players, everybody's getting hurt all the time. You're losing players every game. The Giants lost 3 offensive linemen yesterday, which doesn't help.
The
their
NFL
offense.
does not give a shit about the players
don't.
and their health.
Absolutely
They
not.
care about revenue.
No,
That's all they care about. These guys, I'm not going to say poor guys because they make a pretty good living doing it, but they're getting banged up. And so what are they going to do? Do 2 bye weeks?
well, they're going to do. They want to. I think in the next contract, because and here's the other thing: the money's coming up again. They're paying so much money, these networks now with the streaming involved, like Netflix, that it's going to go up. And now they want to make it go to the Super Bowl would be on President's Day weekend. So in order for them to get to that date, they have to add 1 more game and 1 more bye, so each team will have 2 byes.
And then most people have Monday off.
Right. Now you'll have Monday off, no more calling.
Right.
You don't have to worry about calling in sick. It's a national holiday, the President's Day.
Right.
That's what they're working for. But these quarterbacks, half the National Football League, the starting quarterbacks are out. Half of them.
Right.
You're talking at least 15 of them where the backups are playing. All right. I mean, they try to protect the quarterback, and I think they do protect the quarterback more than they did back in the 80s when they used
I
to
think
be
they
able to
actually
kill
do it
them
excessively.
but they still get injured.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a kid, there was a 14-game schedule. Now they're going to go. They went
Right.
to 16, then now 17, and then 18. There's just way too many injuries.
And talking about streaming, YouTube TV is what I have.
Right.
To buy the NFL package is $400. And when you break that down, the Thursday night game's on Amazon,
Right.
so it's not on YouTube TV.
No.
The Jet and Giant games you get anyway. You don't
On-
need YouTube TV to get the Jet. You're going to get the Jet and Giant
But
game.
if you completely stream, how do you get your local?
Well, it's still obviously I get my local networks on YouTube TV. I get everything on that. So I do get the Jet and Giant game, but what I'm saying is you don't need the NFL package.
Right.
I would get that anyway because I get NBC and CBS and Fox.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't need to buy the package to get the Jet and Giant game.
Right.
So those aren't included. Sunday night game, NBC, not included in the package. You don't need the package to watch it.
Right.
Okay. Monday night, you don't need the package to watch Monday Night Football. It's on ESPN. So what do you get for the package? For $400, right? And
now you're getting the games that are out of the area.
so,
right.
So yesterday, instead of watching the Jet game, I watched the Buffalo game. Right, there were a lot of good games yesterday.
Yeah,
the Rams Seahawks game Thursday night was fantastic. I'm sorry that the Seahawks won, but they.
Well, I didn't see that because I'm not going to get Prime just for that. But anyway,
right,
you have it,
but I have Prime already. But the Bills Browns game was a great game. I've become a Jaguar fan only from the sense that I like watching Clemson, and Trevor Lawrence and Etienne, the running back, both played for Clemson, and both exciting players. And I really like Trevor Lawrence.
They're having a good year. I mean, they turned it around after they changed their coach. It's amazing.
Yeah, they're having a good year. The Pittsburgh Detroit game you mentioned, the Jag Denver game was a bit of a blowout in the second half, but it was still exciting to watch.
Denver lost the first time in 11 games straight. I think
I can't believe, as good as their defense was, they just got manhandled by the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is
4 touchdown passes.
He's really come into his own. Like the first couple of years, it was a rough time for him, but he really looked like a field general yesterday.
Yeah.
But I turn on. I like the Bills. I mean, I know Jeff
like the
shouldn't
Bills.
say that.
Well,
but Josh Allen.
Well, you know what it is.
I like Josh Allen.
But not only that, you want to see when you watch these other teams play. They actually do things like they score.
They get first downs.
You can't watch the Jets and the Giants because, and I really feel bad for Jackson Dart. But let's get back to the
every time I switch to the Jet game, they were in commercial because
they're almost
nobody's getting a first down.
Right.
So they go to commercial.
And I tell you the truth, I listen to your coach. I don't think he's got it. He's the worst with the media I've ever seen.
They are such a horrible franchise, and I could do every Jet fan a favor by dropping them, because then they'd probably make the playoffs and possibly go to a Super Bowl if I'm not rooting for them anymore.
There's a lot of guys they could say that, but you have to try to watch some of these other games. That's why I was interested in watching the Detroit-Pittsburgh game. Because it was actually entertaining. They went back and forth. The Detroit had a chance to win it at the end if they just scored a touchdown.
Well, they did score a touchdown.
Well, that's the problem. That's the thing I was going to look at. I was going to ask your opinion on.
He did push off.
Now it was on the first one.
The final play.
All right, there was two
offensive,
and
interference
they called 2 touchdowns back right in a row.
Right.
The first one, the guy just ran straight, and that guy actually went into him. See. You got to make sure that you don't get near that defensive player because they threw the flag on him. I didn't think it was a penalty. I don't think he picked him at all. He just went straight. And the other guy came off his tail and scored. So that's one they called back. And then the other one, they didn't blow the whistle. They threw the flag, but they didn't blow the whistle before he lateraled the ball.
Right.
So the referees made 2 mistakes. First of all, you thought it was a pass interference? The second one?
The second one, he did push off in the end zone, the receiver.
Okay.
And then I didn't think you could run into the end zone. I thought there was criteria to running into the end zone and then running back out of the end zone.
No, you could do that. You can't go out of bounds. You can't go out of bounds.
It's only the sideline that you have the criteria. So he came back out of the end zone.
Well,
he caught the ball while he was being tackled.
Well, the thing was, the reason why he was getting pushed back, when he caught the ball, which means that the whistle should have blown for lack of forward progress on he had the ball. If they'd have blown the whistle, it never would have went to the fact of the lateral.
The game was over anyway.
Right, but the game is over anyway because it was an offensive.
Right, I'm saying even if they didn't call the penalty, the game was over because he was tackled on the 2.
Right, but they didn't blow the whistle.
And so he lateraled it.
Right. So now they had 3 things wrong with the play. They had the penalty.
It was Goff, right? Goff
caught the ball. He lateraled it because nobody blew the whistle.
But how heads up is that for Goff to come through the middle?
No, I mean
make that happen. It was.
Some of the defensive players, they relaxed. They stopped because they thought it was over. And nobody blew the whistle.
Speaking of thinking it was over, Trevor Lawrence got folded in half after the whistle. And they did call the penalty on unnecessary roughness. But it was false start on the Jaguars. Plays dead. Lawrence had faded back. to pass the ball. They blew the whistle. So he just stopped and dropped his arms and was standing. And one of the Bronco defensemen came from behind him after the play is over and just folded him in half. Like, to watch that in slow motion, Trevor Lawrence bent backwards 90 degrees.
Wow.
And it was amazing that he wasn't injured. But
I still think that the refs should have let some of this. The end of the game, they impacted the end of the game. Now you could argue it was I think it was a ticky tack penalties that they called. If you want to say one was good, one was bad, the first one didn't look like anything to me, and then that the game would have been, they would have had the lead already. The second one, so many things happened on the play that it's hard to figure out and sort out what was wrong. But if the guy would have just blew the whistle, the forward progress, he was on the 2-yard line. The game's over there without the penalty.
And frankly, the refs took like 10 minutes to decide what to do on that. And if you have to take 10 minutes, then the play on the field stands.
Yeah. Well, I give Dan Campbell a lot of credit after the game. He didn't mention any of that stuff. He said, "Look, they ran
59 other minutes."
But he said they ran the ball down our throat. They ran for 300 plus yards on the ground. Pittsburgh. He goes, you're not going to win too many games doing that. So I give him a lot of credit. I think they're going to have trouble making the playoffs now, because now the Bears are in control, and I mean these teams, they turned it around in 1 year. The Bears. Jacksonville, Denver was already on the coming up nice last year. They had a good year because that's Sean Payton. He's proved to me what a good coach he is, because before he got there, they were terrible, Denver, and he turned that team around. He knew when to get rid of Russell Wilson. He did the right thing, and Russell Wilson went. Not only did he get rid of him in Denver, he went to Pittsburgh. He was nothing. Then he comes over here to the Giants. It was a disaster.
Can't even win a coin toss.
No.
And then you had the Pats Ravens.
That was a good game too.
That was a good game. Damn, Drake May.
He's playing well.
380 yards.
Playing well.
2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It shows you the difference in organizations when you look at the Patriots versus the Jets. You just look at it.
It makes you even feel worse as a Jet fan, because you had.
Well, I don't think you can feel worse.
Well, the thing is like, you've been trying to turn it around for many, many years, okay? No matter what you do, the Jets haven't done it. This team was on the top for 20 years. They had two down years.
Well, they lost my number. I mean, I don't think they call me. They're not taking my calls anymore.
For what?
But when you said I've been trying to turn it around for years.
Oh. But, I mean, look at how – and they changed their coach after 1 year. Because they saw that Vrabel was out there.
Right.
They weren't going to let him get to the Jets. The Jets interviewed him first. And they had the draft pick last year, which the Giants tried to get from them. And they said, we're taking Drake May. It's worked out perfect. He had 1 year last year with a little get your feet wet type of year. Did play okay. And now he's an MVP candidate.
But and what a reflection on the organization. The Jets will be bad in perpetuity because no one wants to come play for them.
Right. Well, you had Aaron Rodgers.
And it takes, well,
he carried the flag out
at the end of his career.
But he's playing well with Pittsburgh.
It always takes me back when Peyton Manning was a junior in college, nominated for the Heisman, and the Jets had the first draft pick that year.
He decided
to stay in college, risk career-ending injury to not play for the Jets.
Right. It's telling. It's telling.
And nothing's improved since then.
That brings me to another point. Well, first of all, let's just give the scores at least. The Jets lost 29-6. They managed 2 field goals. The Giants lost 16-13.
Now, let me just say, no offensive touchdowns between the two teams.
No, none.
0.
And the Giants had 1 fumble recovery for a touchdown. And they had 1 touchdown called back on an interception that went all the way, okay, by Holland. And our number 1 draft pick can't even line up on side. He was offside because he lined up past the ball over the
right.
So the game. Not that I want to win the game anymore, and I'll tell you why.
We call that the neutral zone, but go ahead.
Yeah, we call it the neutral zone, but he was lined up in the neutral zone. But you can't even line up right Okay, and that's not the first time, but that cost us 7 points. I don't want the Giants to win another game.
Well, you got the number one pick.
We
Right
got the number one pick, and guess who's going to want it? The New York Jets. And they're the only team that has the capital to get it from the Giants. They've got 5 number one picks in the next 2 years. The Giants aren't going to draft a quarterback. I'd be shocked if they want to get a quarterback. I think Jackson Dart, if they put enough people around him, I think they're holding him back now. They're afraid to get him hurt.
He needs to mature.
He threw the
a little
ball.
bit.
He threw the ball 17 times yesterday for 33 yards.
Right.
Okay.
He needs to mature a little bit, though.
But my scenario is, and it's going to be telling next week, because the Raiders are in the number 2 slot, and they need a quarterback. If you're a Jet fan, you want the Raiders to win that, because you don't want the Raiders in the number 1 position, because they're going to be drafting the guy that they want. They want Mendoza. The Jets want Mendoza. And they've got 5 number 1 picks. Now, they don't need to give up 5, but they probably need to give up the 2 number 1s they got in 26, and maybe the one. They have 3 in 27, the Jets, 3 number 1s. So they can afford to give up the 2 number 1s this year and 1 next year, because they'll still have 2 next year, and then they get their quarterback, because he's the only one. He's head and shoulders above the rest as far as a prospect.
But the problem with that is, if you're giving up 2 years worth of draft picks, then you have nothing. All you have to rely on is free agency. You have no.
Well, no, I'm not giving them all up. You still got your number. I'm just throwing it out.
Right.
I'm thinking what would probably.
But meanwhile, the players that we have that are good are getting old.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you're still if you get the quarterback and give up the 2 number 1s, okay, because Mendoza is not falling to the Jets at 4, okay. If they wound up 4, 5, 3, they could wind up in any position. But for the 2 that you have in 26, you can get the number 1 pick, overall pick. You're going to do that. And if you have to give one of the next 3 next year, you got extra number 2s, and you got 2 number 1s in 27. So you're going to do that if you were the Jets, because you still have quite a few picks that you can shape your team, and they're way under the cap for next year. The Jets, way under. So they can. I mean, I still think that the jury's still out on him. I'm not sure if he has what it takes to turn them around, but he's only going to get 2 more years.
Listen, the
But
Jets,
wouldn't you
the
think
Jets have been rebuilding since
that's
Mark Sanchez.
But that's the best scenario for both teams, because the Giants need more picks to.
But what
straighten
good
them
is
out.
it if they don't build a team around those picks?
Around who?
Around the picks.
Well, yeah, they will.
You know, the Jets don't.
Well, but neither one's really drafted well. Okay.
Jets are the worst drafting team in the history of the NFL.
But that's the scenario for those 2 teams. But so it's all about the draft pick. And I think if the Giants can lose next week, which is going to be tough because the Raiders are bad, they'll lose the last game of the Cowboys. The Jets are going to lose next week to Buffalo.
Oh yeah, and then they have the Patriots.
And I'm sorry, they have the Patriots this week, and then Buffalo.
Right.
Yeah, they're not going to win.
I think so.
They could still wind up with the number 1 pick, which would be now they keep all the draft picks.
Right.
But something would have to happen. But, the playoff picture is shaping up, and a lot of these teams are jockeying for position.
I think it's going to be a good postseason.
There's some decent teams. I think there's not one team that you can look at and say, well, they're going to win it all. Well, because, look, I thought the Rams might be that. They lost to Seattle last week. It's
that
going
was
to be
a crazy game.
But I think, you get home field, and that's why I think the Eagles are going to be done. They needed home field again.
I think watch out for the Patriots.
Well, they could be there. Well, let's put it this way. If Denver gets to home field, or if Buffalo, I don't know if Buffalo can get it now.
They're 1 game back.
All right. So you really don't
possible.
know. You really don't know what's going to happen.
Denver hasn't clinched yet.
No.
They needed to win yesterday.
They would have clinched the home field yesterday,
Yeah,
I believe.
I think so.
Yeah. So it was interesting. Nothing's really going on as far. You have anything else on football before I just do a quick thing?
No.
Yankees, Mets. The Mets lost 2 of their best players. Here's the thing about the Mets, and I tell a lot of the Table 12 guys this. I followed the Mets my whole life. My father was a Met fan. Tom Seaver, then Darryl Strawberry. Now that Pete Alonso could have wound up being the number 2 of all time Mets. He already had the home run record. He would have built on that if they would have kept him.
He's the best player on the team.
He's the best player on the team, but he's also a legacy guy. He would have stayed a Met his entire career. They don't keep anybody, and then they want to bring him back and honor him and put him in the retire their number. Well, you got rid of him. Tom Seaver, they got rid of 3 times. Okay? Darryl Strawberry never should have been gone. And now Alonso.
Well, at least they didn't let him go to someone in their division. Like
the Alonso thing.
Like imagine if he went to the Phillies, I mean, like, because that's what the Jets do. The Jets let someone go.
Well, Alonso,
to the Patriots.
He could have went to the Phillies or the Braves. That would have killed him.
Right. Yeah.
He got 5 years, $155 million. And all we heard about the Mets owner was that he was a big money guy.
Right.
All right. Well, now he's building this big complex outside of Citi Field. Get rid of the chop shops, and he's putting up a casino. He's putting up hotels. He's got
other interests.
Well, he's got to put a lot of money into that. Right. Okay. But to lose a legacy player, and I think it's really the general manager, the Stearns guy. People call him the genius. Well, I'm sorry. They had 3 million people come to the games last year. 3.2 million. They're not going to get that this year if they don't do something. Now, they're reportedly looking at Bellinger. Here's the other thing. Now, on the flip side, you got the Yankees, who've made so many bad moves that it's impacting their yearly salary structure.
Well, they've signed 3 one-year contracts so far.
Yeah.
So it's good you're building for the future.
Well, the problem is they played poker. Cashman played poker with Trent Grisham. Okay, he made $5 million last year.
At 22,
he gave him
That's
an office sheet.
That's a pay raise.
Well, now that $22 million you could have been using for Bellinger. All right.
Right.
Now Bellinger wants 8 years.
He wants $30 million.
He wants it more than that.
Well, $30 million a year.
Yeah, he wants 30 plus.
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen with him, but because of what they've done, you got dead money with LeMahieu this year, $15 million on the books this year. You've got 2 more years of Stanton making $29 million. Okay, they can't move him. He's got a no trade clause. If he was smart, he would just say, "Look, trade me to the Padres or something. Go out to San Diego in the nice weather." They're hamstrung because he doesn't have the money Steve Cohen has, and he doesn't want to go over the luxury tax. They're already over the luxury tax, which you have to pay. I think the Yankees pay $61 million.
The Yankees have been over it since it was instituted.
But he don't want to go. I'd be very surprised if they can get Bellinger back, and I don't want to see him go to the Mets because now everybody from the Yankees goes to the Mets now. Okay, right. You had Soto, then you had Clay Holmes, now you have Devin Williams and Luke Weaver. Well, they're all on 3 ex-closers are on the Mets. Now they weren't going to keep Devin Williams. He didn't impress me last year. So there's a lot of guys out there that are looking for big money. Tucker. So I don't know what's going to happen with the free agents, but.
I don't have high hopes for the Yanks.
Well, I mean, if the other teams are in the division are improving.
Well, their bullpen was terrible.
But Toronto got better. Even they were in the World Series. Alonso went to the Orioles. Okay. Boston traded for Contreras from St. Louis, who's a catcher / first baseman. They've all getting better, and we signed Paul Blackburn.
Right.
For $2 million. That was our big move.
And Yarborough.
All right. So are you going to, so that's the free agents. It's kind of early yet, but that's what's going on with that. So.
Well,
we got plenty of time to talk hockey and basketball. We won't do it now. We'll talk about that after the first of the year.
Hockey. Can't wait.
You're not going to like it. It's bad for the Rangers.
By the way, did you know Dolan?
Yes.
Owns the Sphere?
Yes.
I'm going there. I'm going to the Sphere in February.
What are you going for?
Wizard of Oz. We're going to see the Wizard of Oz in the Sphere. And
they can show the movie?
Yeah, they're doing it already. They already started doing it. And they have all these special effects and what have you. But I was just surprised that that Dolan is the mastermind behind that. Like, you can't build a hockey team or a basketball team, but you can build the Sphere.
Well, the Knicks are playing pretty well. They won the NBA Cup.
Yeah,
which was an in-season tournament, which is an absolute.
I'm not totally sure what that even is.
It's really nothing, but
they're doing good. They're 14-2 at home, and they're second behind with the Pistons.
I don't think that they're built to go all the way, but they should be able to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. But they may have to do maybe they can get a couple of tweaks at the trade deadline and
quarter of the way through the season. And,
long way to go. Long way to go, Dan.
But I was just surprised at that.
We'll see that after the New Year, we'll get more into that. I'm sure you'll be ready for the.
Well, listen, I'll bring it after the new year on hockey. I'll be all over it. That's played on ice, right?
Yeah, who's pushing the puck for the Bruins?
I have no idea.
All right, so that's going to wrap up our
Okay.
first segment. We'll be right back.